how do you bring this up in conversation? Do you bring it up in conversation? You know, like how do you vet what kind of a person you're talking to, where you could even bring something like this up?
Well, there aren't a whole lot of people out there that are on the fence about some of these things, you know.
Yeah.
That's where we are right now, and they don't look. It's a reasonable question, but it's been a long time since I've met someone who says to me, you know, I know you're doing a lot of stuff with the vaccine research. You know, can you tell me what you found, and why do you believe what you believe? I'm willing to hear. That almost never happens anymore, you know. And what's really interesting, and I don't want to put that glazed look on your eyes, Ben, when I'm bringing up 9/11 again. But, you know, when I saw Building 7 and I did all this stuff, I mean, I called up NPR and, you know, wrote them letters. And I said, hey, you know, I'm a big contributor. And can I talk to a producer about, you know, coming out with the truth about 9/11? Like, I really thought that, you know, someone would listen to me and give me a platform. And I was so completely naive because I didn't know, you know, that people were so stuck in their ways of thinking about things. So, but to answer your question, and it's a really good question, because those moments are precious, right? When you're with someone who's like truly curious. And here's a question for both of you. You know, below, like, what is the soil for that kind of conversation, you know, for that kind of plant to grow? And I would suggest that it has to do with curiosity, right? Mm-hmm. Like that guy that you mentioned, you know, was so into the quote, and then he finds out it's from David Icke, and then he throws the whole thing away. It's like, what happened to your curiosity, you know, about like where that takes you? Like, why does that, you know, how do you invoke or allow curiosity to flourish in another human being? I really want to know what your opinion is.
Wait, I'm sorry. Ask that one more time.
You can. How do you make someone more curious, or is it?
How do you lead the horse to water? Right. I mean, I always say you can only lead a horse to water, but you can make that water look really, really quenching.
Mm-hmm. Right. You could race the horse around the lake a bunch of times.
You get the horse really tired, so it's.
And so I wanna answer that real quick, you know, because what I love about what you said, it wasn't based on any other outcome than causing a little bit more curiosity in them. That's number one, which is really important, because when I'm giving my thoughts about what's going on in the world, I'm very clear to say it may not benefit you to believe the same things that I believe. So very clear about that. I love that we can take a look at what I like doing is showing people how to watch documentaries and how to read books that are either above our pay grade or outside of our comfort zone in terms of what it will cause us to, you know, potentially believe by the end of it. That we should do it and be more curious about our inner process of what inside me is inspired to look deeper, and what inside me is just like, meh, and what inside me is like, no, I refuse to look, because all those have very valid energies behind them that we should investigate. So what I love about, you know, causing for people to be a bit more curious, how I go about that is I neutralize myself in the sense of I try and do so much justice to the side that I'm about to deconstruct to show that the other side, and I don't always do this perfectly, but this is my intent at least. If I have, well, you know, and I also try and say there isn't just a yes or no to any of these things, but if there's a debate, and this is what a lot of people believe, I try and show, like, here's how I understand it, and here's why I appreciate it. And I'm getting better at that. Here's why I appreciate it. However, here's some of the holes in it. Before I even get over here, here are some of the holes in what I see over here, because in order to believe X, Y, and Z, you have to come to the premeditated belief that XA, you know, YA, and BA are true. and then that has to be, you have to presuppose all these other things. And so what I do is to create a little bit more curiosity, is to show the process of questioning your own mental state without doing the Tucker Carlson. And I only say Tucker Carlson because he's the most popular news anchor out there. Every single news anchor I've met that is not of the independent ilk is exactly like this. They believe what they're saying has a factual truth to it that cannot be seen any other way, and all of their facial expressions and body language comes from, this is an authoritative view. There's only one way you can see this, and if you don't, it's really disgusting. And they give all these faces that make you feel dumb. Yes, they make you feel dumb with their facial expressions and the little head tilts. Like the very first time I saw ayahuasca being talked about on the news, there was a woman, an Australian woman, being like, tons of people are flocking to Peru to, check out this jungle brew's supposedly magical properties. And there was this big head tilt with this magical properties. And that to me is just like, if you could have said that a bit more intelligently, then you can actually ignite curiosity inside people. So to answer your question, Madhava, how I do that, how I attempt to do that, is to show I actually do see the relevance and how intelligent people can arrive at a completely opposite belief than my own. However, here's how I deconstruct it, and here's where I've landed. But don't land over here. Just go through this process on your own, and then tell me where you land, because maybe you land somewhere that's even more, thoroughly thought through than myself. So it's more about the process of discernment and, sharpening that blade of discernment than it is, do you believe this or do you believe that? Do you see what I mean?
I do completely. And those are all really good points. And the distinction I was trying to make here is that, you talked about two different people at a party that you're talking to someone. There was the person that whose eyes glazed over.
Yeah.
Right. And then there was a person that was like, that's not what I came here for. Right. It's the person that did not want to hear a dissenting opinion.
Right.
And then the person who just didn't give a shit.
Right.
Right. And I guess where I'm trying to go with this is that, what you just said there is brilliant and very effective for the person that's, I don't want to listen to that, right? Because, they don't want to be told that they're wrong, and you have to show them that there's uncertainty on my side, but it's the person whose eyes glazed over is like, I just don't want to, I don't care. I don't care that the world's going to end. I don't care about 9/11. I don't care about, vaccine safety. I don't care. Yeah. Where, how do you get, we know, honestly, I think this is the engine that drives us to become better human beings, is not just the need for pleasure, but curiosity. And I would say that for me, I think it's innate. There's some people that are just curious. And if there was anything that may play a role in how curious someone is, it's about how safe they feel.
True.
I think, there could be an inherent sort of level of curiosity that's pretty high, but if they're insecure or, they feel threatened, that curiosity goes way down. It's I don't know.
Well, it's something I've found too, when you experience people who have extreme apathy and are extremely apathetic or nihilistic, where, why should I care whether it's, whatever subject, for instance, something that I come across this sometimes is with UAPs. I think a critical thing that I've taken away from both of you is obviously set and setting. Being in the right mindset, the way you present these ideas with your emotional intelligence, with your words, with your patience, with your breathing, with how you're coming across. And then it's like doing a psychedelic, set and setting. And then are you in the right setting? Is this the right time and place to be talking to this person? And is this person ready? And if they are somebody who's ready or open-minded but apathetic, I've tended to find that the best way to have some people try to get a little bit become more curious when they're apathetic is showing how they do have a vested interest. showing how it does affect them to some degree. Because whenever I bring up UAPs and otherworldly things, people go, "Oh, that's kind of weird and out there," and like, but like, who cares, dude? Why does it affect me? Like, I got more important things tomorrow to deal with than an alien craft landing on the White House. And I said, okay, valid, true. But let me, if you're open to it, can I explain to you why this will actually affect you directly? And this will affect almost all elements of life. And Ben and I did a whole series on this, and there's a big part of it. But it's when you're apathetic, a key thing is making you feel like you have a part to play. You have skin in the game. And it's whether it's just a political process or anything. You don't have to necessarily be a fan of it or anything, but you are making a choice by being apathetic. That is also a choice in itself of saying, I don't want to be involved and participate. That's fine. You're entitled to that. George Carlin is the famous comedian for this. He loved just commentating and making fun of the madness, and he did it beautifully, and I love him for playing that role. And some people, that's cool if you want to play that role, but I'll push back on them when they say, like, why does it affect me? I say it does affect you. Now, you can choose not to care and know it affects you, but I think it definitely does affect you. So that's just my 2 cents on when you deal with apathetic ideologies.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Make sure y'all head over to benjosephstewart.com, become a member. You'll have access to the growing library of deeper dives where I talk about all the stuff that I really can't talk about on YouTube. Make sure you get involved in the Discord chat. That's where a lot of the conversation is happening, talking about new theories, being able to interweave into the greater conversation that is how we awaken infinity. That's our highest potential. And I just want to remind you, you are the most powerful technology ever known to creation. Wield it like an artist with a conscience.